Craig, you've been obviously with the team all year. You know what they're made of. Not a ton of respect coming their way. When you look nationally, a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's the Buckeyes. They're going to move on." How do you think they're handling that? And are they built to beat this Ohio State team?
Well, it is a novelty, Randy. They've been asked about it a lot. Sark was asked about it in the final pre-bowl news conference today about the whole underdog thing, and he said underdog doesn't get you any points on the scoreboard. It's all well and good and all that kind of stuff, but he goes, none of that stuff mattered in the past. And same thing with Ryan Day. I think they're all just kind of dialed in on doing it. It is a different feel. There's no question about it. They've gone into these other two playoff games as the favorites. Virtually all of their games during the regular season, they were favored. So this is something different. This team, though, plays at a real business-like approach mode. So I don't know that they get too high or too low on anything.
What's impressed you the most about this year's version of the Longhorns?
Probably that they evolved over time. I mean, there was a lot of conversation that they were good and they were talented, and they've been all that, but they've had to find some plugins here and there. When Quinn Ewers had the oblique injury and then the ankle injury, Arch Manning has stepped in and done a nice job there. The defense has really been good. You know, the secondary, Randy, was like 116th against the pass a year ago. Big turnaround this year. They've been one of the top. They have the Thorpe Award winner and Jahdae Barron. So they've got guys who are making plays this year that either weren't here or couldn't make them last year. And the pass rush has been a big difference. The defense has come a long, long way. And the offense has been good too.
All right. Speaking of the offense, what are the big challenges? You look at the numbers, Ohio State's, they're locked down defensively. They've really seemed like woken up since that loss to Michigan for sure. What are the challenges for Quinn Ewers and this offense facing this Buckeye defense, in your opinion?
I think it starts with the guys up front, Randy. I think it starts with the offensive line. They do have Kelvin Banks back on the field, so the former Summer Creek standout is there. And then Cam Williams is returning. Sark was asked about it in the news conference. What's Cam Williams' status? He said he'll play. So they've got their entire starting offensive line back and ready to go in this, and they're going to need it against that Ohio State defense that you talked about. The other thing is this. I asked Ryan Day today in the news conference about something I've been told from some Ohio State people, that after the Michigan game, they were playing angry. They were angry. And I said, have you noticed an emotional uptick? And he said, well, that comes with playing better. We're executing better. And so, yeah, guys get a little more emotional, a little more amped up on that. But they don't even have to be angry to be really good. Those down linemen, the linebacker, and the secondary are all really good.
What's the buzz right now? I mean, what I'm seeing, at least from afar, is people are thinking this is the national championship game. And reminder, there's two other good teams playing as well. You can't look ahead. But, I mean, what do you think about the way the CFP has played out as we get down to the Final Four?
You know, I've heard the coaches say this, and I agree. I think it's been great, the 12 teams. I know there have been some lopsided games in the first round, and it was odd that none of the top four seeds who got byes were able to advance to the semifinals. And I think the committee will take a look at maybe, tweaking the system, whether they reseed. You know, if they'd held to their rankings instead of going with the seeds with the automatic bids to the conference champions, Texas would have been the 3 seed and would have gotten a bye, and it would have been interesting to see what would have happened. So I'm curious to see what they do going forward. Sark has said, playing the game against Clemson helped at home before they went to Atlanta to face Arizona State in the Peach Bowl. He said, I also know this. I can see that we're entering our 16th game of the year. So Texas has never played 16 games in a year. It's like all those old days of you and I, Randy, calling those state championships, teams were on game 15 and game 16 now. Right. Here's Texas on game 16, and they need to win this to play game 17 next week.
That's crazy, because I always wonder, are they and you see it when we cover the Texans down here. You always talk to the rookies after X amount of games, like, hey, you hitting the wall yet? I mean, this is a lot of football, man.
Yeah, and you wonder how the relative health of the guys are going. But, Sark has said, look, nobody's going to be 100% at this point. I think Quinn Ewers is probably about as healthy now as he was before the oblique injury at the end of September. He's about as healthy. Maybe not 100%, but close. And really and truly, for having gone through all the practices and having played 15 ball games and starting on August 31st, and here we are rolling into mid-January, I think they're in pretty decent shape health-wise.
I want to wrap it up, and I want to ask you about you're around Sark all the time, just the job that he has done with this program now, getting it to the level that it is. What's your take on the job that he has done to get it back to a national championship contender?
Well, it's happened in two ways. First of all, bringing in Kyle Flood and some other coaches that he knew really well and ones he'd worked with in the past. It helped with recruiting. Yeah. They always talked about getting big humans, and they've done that. The depth in the interior line on both sides of the line, that's made a big difference schematically and talent-wise. The other side is the emotional thing, and he, I think, clicks and identifies with the players more than any other coach I've ever been around. Mac Brown was fabulous with the players, but it was more like an uncle or father type of thing. Sark is just beyond a little bit, and Sark was a standout player. He was the MVP of this Cotton Bowl game, January of '97. So, you know, he links with them really well, and they all follow him really well, and I think that's paid dividends for this team.
Last question. You've been around the Horns for what year is this for you? I mean, you've been around there doing Horn stuff for forever.
It's it's my 38th year on the network, my 24th year in the play-by-play.
Wow. And I know you never take it for granted. How cool has this opportunity been for you, just on a professional, personal level, to be the voice of the Longhorns, man? That's a huge responsibility, but I know an honor that you welcome.
Absolutely. I love it. I love doing all the games, the basketball, the women's basketball, the baseball. It's all a great responsibility. I'm a placeholder, you know, have been for a while. The next guy that comes in will be a placeholder, and it's up to me to carry forward the responsibility right now. So I really enjoy every minute of it. Hey, and Randy, I look at it this way too. I've been calling Friday night games. I've been calling state championship games. I get one more Friday night game at Jerry World, you know.
There you go. That's right. Hey, well, listen, man, great insight. I know all the Longhorn fans look forward to your calls. It's going to be a lot of fun. And as they say, stay warm up there. The weather's been not ideal right now up at DFW, but I know it'll get better coming up tomorrow.
You bet. And the nice thing is the game's indoors, so that'll work.
There you go. Craig, as always, appreciate you, man.
Thanks. Appreciate it.